Beneath the hills around Bisbee in southern Arizona are scant remnants of billions of pounds of copper deposited in limestone formation in the ancient past. Starting in 1880 and taking almost a century, as many as 5,000 miners at a time labored at winning this copper from the hard rock through strenuous physical labor and steadily advancing technology. Both the copper and the profits from mining it helped create the Great Industrial Revolution. By the 1970s, however, Bisbee's once rich ore bodies were being exhausted. To help create a base for heritage tourism, the city of Bisbee worked with mine owner Phelps Dodge to turn one of the operations near downtown into a visitor destination. Today, some 50,000 visitors a year go deep into the mountain, into historic mine workings, learning along the way the history and culture of one of the world's oldest industries. At mines across America, the men and women who work there start each day the same way, with a safety share.
Safety is of great importance. Every day is started off with a safety meeting where the miners and management gets together and discusses the safety issues of concern.
Working deep beneath the Earth's surface or around large equipment, if you're not continually planning for safety, you're liable to have an accident or perhaps cause one for fellow workers.
One of the major causes of accidents in the early years was head injuries, until the introduction of hard hats in underground mines. And hard hats are good for 10-pound rock at 10 feet. On the tour, we require everybody to wear hard hats. Good miners are safe miners.
Deep inside the mine, at what is known as the working face, the job of producing copper begins. In the 1880s, drilling into the hard rock to prepare for blasting was a task done by hand. A 4-pound hammer drove a piece of drill steel about 3/4 inch across with a sharpened X on the head into the rock, stroke by stroke, hour by hour, until the hole was several feet deep. In Bisbee's limestone, a man could drill about 1.5 feet per hour. Another hole followed, then another and another, until the working face was ready for blasting. Miners were proud of their work and turned a tough job into a spectator sport on holidays. Long after hand drilling had been replaced by machines powered by compressed air, miners still were competing by hand, driving steel into hard rock, using only muscles and sweat. In more recent years, this sport has seen a resurgence in historic mining camps around the West. While the Queen Mine allowed ore to be trammed on the level to the surface, most mines use shafts to go vertically into the earth, so ore, workers, and supplies had to be hoisted to and from the surface to the area being mined.
A cable will leave the hoist, go over a tower called a head frame. On the top of the head frame, there's a shiv wheel, and it goes over the shiv wheel down the shaft, and the cable's attached to either a cage, which is for men and supplies, or a skip, which is just a rectangular bucket, is used to bring the ore out.
It was this system of hoisting that allowed thousands of tons of ore to be brought to the surface every day to be loaded on rail cars and shipped to a smelter or a mill. During the mining operation, 200 miles of workings in the hills around Bisbee, miners also encountered the rock work that nature had accomplished.
The near-surface ore bodies have been oxidized or rusted, and when these ore bodies rusted, there's a reduction in volume, and natural caves formed above the ore bodies in Bisbee. Literally every secondary ore body had a cave of some size. Bisbee's largest cave is about 120 feet diameter, 200 feet tall.
It's exciting to see how laborers of past generations made a living and how these old miners created the products which made our modern civilization possible. It's also vital to understand where all the stuff we have came from. We'd be better at conserving and using it wisely if we knew a product's real cost. Bisbee's Queen Mine Tour aims comes to take its visitors to the past. It's a fun trip into the cool mountainside, but it's a trip to the future as much as it is to the past. We'll always need copper, and this tour shows what it takes to make the revolutionary metal available